If you guys are looking for any cheap and reliable coins, check out MMOPO.com. Use the code PINGU at checkout to get 8% off. Hey guys, welcome to Season 2, Episode number 1 of the Derby Chrome Red Live. And to start off this episode, we're currently in the Premier League now, and we have got a lot of money to spend. It is about 45 million, with 142k in wages. So, you know, there's a lot of money there to spend on potential new players, of course. So, really happy with the amount of money we've got, and yeah, I've simulated it by a few days just to get the players that were I've literally simulated one day. I've got rid of all the players that were leaving on a free or transferring out of the club on a permanent. So yeah, we've got all the new signings in now. So we've got DeAndre Yedlin in that right back position, Scott Malone at left back. He is technically our best left back at the club at the minute, as you can see. We have got Buchanan. Brown could do a job there, but I think left back's going to be a main focus of this transfer window, of course. Goalkeeper, obviously Ben Foster, still another area that we might look at, as he is 38 now, so obviously getting on quite a bit and won't be growing in stats, and I think he is actually declining. And I think when we got him, he was at least 78 rated, and the stats were like 78 diving and 80 reflexes, so they've definitely gone down. So going to have to look for a long-term replacement. Of course, we do have Damari Gray. It's going to be kind of between Gray and Ibe on that right hand side. I've converted Gray to a right winger in the development plan, so hopefully eventually that'll be the option on that side. Then Lawrence can go on the left hand side for Joswiak, and obviously Lawrence can also play the cam position in the middle of the midfield. So we also got Timothy Fosu-Mensah. Again, I'm happy with Bielik and Clark as a back two. Obviously they're both a couple of ratings higher than Fosu-Mensah, but I am converting Fosu-Mensah to a centre-back, because I think if we ever do go back to that three at the back, you know, these three together, that might work out really, really well. But I'm going to try the 4-4-3, the 4-3-3, got one more player out of nowhere there, but yeah, I'm going to try the 4-3-3 to start off this season, just because it means that, you know, slightly better defensively with fullbacks, and yeah, it means we can get the midfield three of Sibley, Knight and Bird back together again. As you can see, because of Sibley's injury, he's like 5 ratings behind the other two. So it's, you know, it kind of shows how the development of the young players does matter on how much they do play. So obviously I've had a number of suggestions in between the two episodes, the previous one being the end of season 1, and yeah, we've got a lot of players here to go through. So one player that was suggested by you guys was Sean Longstaff at Newcastle. I think a good young midfielder if we need one. Very good energy in that department. Obviously Jeff Hendrick, former Derby player, would only cost us about 5 million. Again, can play in the middle or out wide if need be. The only concern about him is he is 29 now, so you'd only get 1 or 2 seasons out of him. But it is Jeff Hendrick, and one of the most rounded players in terms of stats, like for his rating. You know, most of them are above 75. We do have Super Yaga here from Liverpool. I was actually looking at this guy when he was at, I think it was Dynamo Moscow. It's maybe one of those Ukrainian teams, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, really good potential on him, and he is actually available on loan. He is loan listed, so there's one option for a striker that we could potentially look at. He is 6 foot tall and pretty okay strength. We do have Alfredo Morelos here from Rangers. I think this is quite a realistic signing. Like, a Premier League team should eventually come in for Morelos. The only downside of him is his aggression, but his goal scoring ability at Rangers is obviously very good. We do have Arthur Cabral here from FC Basel. Again, another tall, big, powerful striker. He's 6'1", £196, which is, you know, that is a lot. That is a really big, bulky player. I'm obviously just trying to show you in comparison. You know, he's like £11 bigger than any other player that we do have on this shortlist that I could see. So we'll get the scout report back on him and see what he looks like. Then moving into the next players, we do actually have a number of free agents here. I've looked throughout the free agent market, and there's actually some really good buys now on career mode. In the past, players tended to not go on to be free agents. And yeah, it's quite realistic. I like the fact that you can get a number of really, really good players here. We do have Lucas Vazquez, obviously about 80 rated at Real Madrid. really good player, like at the cam position or out wide. The only downside is probably 30 years old. It's a little bit old, but then on the flip side we have got Fernandinho here, 82 rated, really good rating, but at 36 years old he's only going to realistically get one more season out of him, but still got very, very good stats. Like, he hasn't got that bad of pace. It's only about 60 pace. 72 stamina is actually quite good for a 36-year-old, surprisingly. Really good aggression, reactions and stuff like that. So I think if I was going to sign him, it'd be like almost back up to Bird in the midfield. And, on 30 grand a week wages, that's very tempting to get Fernandinho on a free just for a season. Just, it's kind of like when Cambiasso went to Leicester in their first Premier League season quite a few years ago. He's an experienced CDM. And in some of those bigger games might just be the experience we need. And I'm really tempted just to do it now. For 30 grand a week wages, it's absolutely peanuts. Next free agent is Sergio Romero, again another goalkeeper, would only cost us 28k, and is 79 rated. Obviously he's 4 years younger. Like, when you look at it that way, 34 looks old, but then Ben Foster's 38, so obviously Romero, very good goalkeeper, and for 28k a week, it's not a bad punt. Then we have Capaldo here from the Argentinian league. Looks quite well rounded, don't know too much about him, but pretty good standing tackling. Good long passing, good short passing, so we'll wait to see what the scout report comes back with him. And then in terms of like ideal left back replacements, we do have Ryan Bertrand here, who at 31 is still a very good player, like really, really good stats. And I think for the first season in the Premier League, this kind of signing would make a lot of sense. It's a good left back option until we find a long-term replacement. Then we have Adara Biayo. I'm going to go for that. 6'4". He is from Manchester City. I think I want to say he went to Fulham in real life, but obviously on the game didn't move there. And he wouldn't be a bad backup centre-back option at 23 years old. Obviously very good and cheap. The only, reason I wouldn't sign him is because we have got Rodon and Fosu Mensah and Cabango all, not in the first team at the minute. So not 100% sure we need him, but we could always look to loan him out if we did sign him. And then we have Dean Henderson, who I actually like the idea of. It makes a lot of sense because at Manchester United at the minute, obviously David De Gea is the number one. And is he going to want to sit on the bench? Probably not. So it's a semi-realistic one. I don't think he'd go to a newly promoted club, but I think he'd move from Manchester United to get first team football. Because I don't see De Gea going anywhere for the next couple of seasons. I don't know why Henderson, at 24, it's not that young, but it's in that area where he still has a bit to grow. So I think we'll have a look and see what the scout report says. If he's under like 15 million, then I might be tempted. Then we have David Raya, obviously from Brentford. The only downside is probably his height at 6 foot tall. I don't really like short goalkeepers. That's one thing that I might just remove him from the shortlist because of that. I think 6 foot tall just isn't tall enough in my opinion. And obviously having a tall goalkeeper helps out a lot. Then we have Brian Mbeumo from Brentford. Obviously didn't get promoted, so I think moving to the Premier League is a natural movement for him, and very good skill moves, and obviously a very good potential at only 21 years old. Then we have Said Benrahma, obviously in real life has gone to West Ham, but on this career mode the database wasn't updated, and I think the signing actually happened after I started the career mode, so I'll give EA some credit. I don't think they can go into my game and move him, but yeah, really good player, obviously Benrahma, and at 25 still got a good 10 years left in his career. Sam Johnston, again another good Championship goalkeeper. If we can see what his kind of price is, then that'll be good to see. Matthias Pereira again. I've added a lot of players basically from the Championship. Ramsdale again, another good option if we don't get Henderson. So the ones that I wanted to get to, Max Lowe and Jayden Bogle, obviously we did sell them in real life last season, so it makes a lot of sense to bring them back to the club, and I think especially Max Lowe, since we do need a left back, but as you can see they're going to cost us about 8 or 9 million, which is a lot of money when you really break it down for we do need a left back, but a right back I don't think we need. I don't think we need a right back until we get rid of Byrne, because Yedlin's going to be the starter, and then Byrne will be the backup to play here and there if need be. So I'm not too fussed about getting Bogle right now until we get rid of Byrne, maybe in January. He's only got 12 months left on his contract. But Max Lowe obviously would be a nice signing to bring back to the club. Ollie McBurney, I think he's kind of the big target, 6'3" target man that I'm looking for. Obviously quite similar to Arthur Cabral in Basel, but I like Cabral because he's big and powerful and got that power header trait, which, I'm trying to think the last time we scored a header in this career mode. Bernie's also got the power header trait, so yeah, someone like that would be quite good. Emiliano Martinez, obviously very, very good goalkeeper, and 6'5" as well. I think he'd be a terrific signing if he's like 6 or 7 million. I think for the next 4 seasons it makes a lot of sense. Samata from Villa, again another tall striker in Wesley, and Ollie Watkins, obviously very good in the Championship, scored that hat-trick against Liverpool. Very unlikely he's going to want to stay in the Championship, so I think moving him back to a Premier League team in us would make a lot of sense, and can play on that right wing position if need be, so it's a nice bit of versatility to have. Matej Vidra, might be tempted to bring him back. He's a nice little player at a couple of million. Then we have Sven Ulrich, again another goalkeeper, 32 years old. I think between Ulrich and Sergio Romero, I think I'll probably go for Ulrich just because he's a couple of years younger, because they're both the same rating, I think it's 79. And yeah, those couple of years obviously just help out a little bit in terms of longevity. And I think that's all the players that we did add. We still do have obviously Tomori, Ferdi Kadioglu, and unfortunately, I've already had a look. We can't bring him back. We can't bring Chris Martin back to the club, and it's just sad because I really wanted him, but no, the game's just gone. Give him a year at Bristol, don't really play him, and then he retires at 32. Like, what's that about? Mental, but it's a big shame. Maybe we can sort something out in the future. One thing I did actually see, which I'm going to do straight away, is a no-brainer. This one, Ivan Martinez, 19-year-old goalkeeper, free agent, £2,000 a week wages. So this guy's got a very good potential. So I think signing him makes a lot of sense. We can loan him out for the season, like we are with Johnny Mitchell. So they only wanted 2.1k a week wages. So they only wanted 2.1k wages, and I'll probably give him a 40k. I think 40k bonus should be enough, and hopefully he signs that. There we go. So there is our first signing of the Premier League transfer window. Not exactly the most thrilling of signing, but in terms of long-term goalkeeper, he makes a lot of sense. He's only 19 years old, saves with feet trait, long throw-in, and he's actually got decent stats. They're not phenomenal. 7 years younger than Johnny Mitchell. We'll probably there's a few players that we do need to sell in this list here. I'll probably sell Idem, Simula, might sell Mitchell Lawson, but I'm not too sure. Johnny Mitchell and Johan probably will all go. So I think on next signing, since obviously Malone, I don't really want to be playing with him, and I'm not too sure why he's still at the club, because his contract should actually be expired, because that's what's happening in real life. So I'm not too sure how those extra 2 years have come out of from. But yeah, the kind of decision that I've got to make is we've got Buchanan as a backup left back. Maybe we loan out Buchanan for a year and get both Lowe and Bertrand, because then Bertrand can be, the main one. He's probably going to be about 77, maybe 78 rated, and then Lowe eventually comes in. What I kind of want to wait and see is what Bertrand's wages are. But I think bringing Max Lowe back to the club makes a lot of sense. If we can get him for like 7.9 million, I'll try and include a player in the swap deal. Unfortunately, the manager heads have still not been patched, so a little bit of a concern. But yeah, in terms of players that we could offload to make this deal a little bit easier, I might put Innocent Yuan in. So we put David Marshall plus 7.5 million. Obviously Marshall's still 69 rated. It might be a good backup goalkeeper for them. And they're going to need a little bit of time to think about that. So A little bit of a shame Chris Wilder isn't there. Yeah, they probably won't accept that. 9 times out of 10 when they say we need a little bit more time, it doesn't come back positive, so that's not really the best of news to get. But yeah, I kind of, until, I don't know, the Fernandinho one is a nice backup central midfield to have. At 82 rated, it's a really good sign. It reminds me of the Cambiasso one quite a bit. Obviously, Will Hughes has just been promoted with Watford, so we won't be able to sign him, I don't think. And there's not really anyone else in terms of backup central midfielders, because if you look at what we actually currently have, we do also have Capaldo here and Jeff Hendrick, Sean Longstaff, and yeah, I think Fernandinho makes a lot of sense defensively. Obviously we've got Nightbird, Sibley, then we've got Rooney and Shinnie, and then Hutchinson, and that's it. So we only really have 6 central midfielders. Could technically put Lawrence in there because he is, you know, a bit of a cam, but out and out central midfielders. I think the Fernandinho one just interests me a little bit too much. I like giving an old player a chance, and obviously he wants first team football, and hopefully we can give it him here. If we can get him on 30k a week wages, I don't mind losing that amount. It's a really good player in Fernandinho, so yeah, I'll be interested to see. He does want crucial, but I'm assuming they'll only want a year contract. Oh, we're gonna have to offer it. Do I give him 2 years, or do I give him just a year? I think a year makes more sense, because then I can just extend it another year if need be. So a 1 year deal for him. There we go. Happy with that. That's makes a lot of sense for us, because we don't want the player like on a 2 year contract and then not being able to move. If we go for that plus a 150k, we still have a lot of money, so it's not going to burn a hole in our pocket. But I'll knock a K off just to see if we can just save a little bit of money. He is nodding his head. Hopefully he agrees on this deal. He's a nice bit of experience at the back, you know, we haven't got that much, and there we go, he's happy with that, so that is a lovely signing to make. Probably should have done the Fernandinho one first, but nevertheless, this game. Also, I didn't even show you guys the objectives for the season, so let me just quickly run through those. One of those was to sign a first team crucial defender, so we've ticked off that already. Get a clean sheet in 3 away matches this season. I'll get a streak of 3, right, so that's actually quite difficult in the Premier League. 3 away games, 3 clean sheets. That might not be doable. The 5 wins in a row just about got done in the Championship, so clean sheets, I'm not too sure I'm going to do that. We're going to have to play 10 games with youth academy players this season. I might just lob them on the bench in the last 5 minutes. Gained 36 million in shirt sales this season. That's pretty doable, and the long-term one pretty doable as well. I'm a newly promoted club. Why is it finished mid-table? So that's a little bit... Is that unrealistic? I'm a newly promoted team. Surely the logical thing to do would be avoid relegation first season, but it's gone. Go straight up to finish mid-table. So there's quite a challenge to finish mid-table, of course, and we may need to invest in some much better players. Obviously, Fernandinho coming in. Probably for Shinnie, because he's that kind of holding midfielder that can do a job. Like, those stats are terrific still. You know, really good defending at 85. Like, you're not going to get much better than that for the team. As you can see, he beats Bird on literally everything other than pace, but obviously he's at 36. I don't expect him to be the paciest in the world, but yeah, I don't think we'll be playing him at centre back. I think he will be predominantly at that CDM role whenever needs be, maybe last 20 minutes of the game just to put in a tackle here and there. Yeah, I like Fernandinho. He's a really good, important player for Manchester City, so yeah, let's have a look and see what the messages are. So yeah, it looks like Sheffield Wednesday aren't really going that well in the negotiations. It's a bit of a tricky one to get Max Lowe. He's obviously a player that we do need as a left back. but it doesn't look like they want anyone unless I put Shinny in. I don't really want to put Shinny in. I don't think I will, because we don't really have that many out-and-out central midfielders. You know, we got... I wouldn't even class Rooney as a central midfielder. I'd say we've got Shinny, Hutchinson, Knight and Bird. Obviously Rooney can play there, and also can Lawrence play there, but defensively they're just absolutely terrible. Maybe if I put Simula into this deal, obviously he's got a very good potential, Simula, but I'm not too fussed about players that aren't real, of course. So if we go to 7.5 million plus Simula, hopefully that was a deal that Sheffield Wednesday can agree on. So that I just don't think they're bothered about any players. I think they just want the cash. So I'm just going to have to negotiate down to 7.6 million plus the 7% sell-on clause. Again, a little bit closer now. If we can, you know, the sell-on clause isn't too much of an issue. So if we knock that down by 5%, and hopefully we can shake our hand on that. And there we go. We have reached an agreement for Max Lowe, former Derby player, and yeah, let's go into the contract negotiations. I don't think he's probably on like 20k a week, so really low wages. There's a nice pun, low wages for Max Lowe. Hate myself. Anyway, important player. Obviously we'll give him a good 4-year contract, but as I was saying, like, you know, that's peanuts. 16k in the Premier League. Remove that bonus, it might go up to 17k. There we go. I just know this game and me are on the same wavelength. Obviously it's still annoying that my manager's not there, but there we go. We have made our third signing of this transfer window. One thing that I do need to do that I forgot to do is list up Martinez for loan. So I really like that feature that you can bring in a player and then loan them out immediately, which you can almost like create a Chelsea kind of system. You know, Chelsea have like hundreds of players out on loan, and then obviously as one of those does a really good season, sell them for like 30-40 million, and yeah, it's a really good business option that Chelsea do have, but obviously they did get kind of caught out and banned from the transfer market for a year. But anyway, let's go into our first pre-season game of the season. Not too bothered about pre-season friendly, so pre-season tournament, whatever it is. So we'll just simulate these. We do lose the game 2-1. So there we go, we have lost our final pre-season game. Zadas with a couple of goals for Cagliari there. Bit of a beast on Football Manager, Zadas. So I don't know if he's actually gone there in real life or it's a career mode transfer. But yeah, I wasn't, like, the extra, few million that we get from the pre-season tournament's nice, but I'm not that fussed about the actual result. You know, we may have only got 1.1 million, but you know, the pre-season tournaments just aren't interesting to me at all. So yeah, now we can have a look at the table. Obviously the newly promoted teams are us, Watford and Norwich. Obviously Sheffield Wednesday, Villa and West Brom were the teams to get relegated, so obviously still Leeds in the league, so there's a nice rival for us. Obviously no Nottingham Forest because we beat them in the final, but I don't know, mid-table finish isn't that unrealistic when you look at some of the teams. I think we could finish above Southampton, Norwich, Watford, West Ham, Leeds, Fulham, Burnley and Brighton. You know, there's a good 9 or 10 teams there that we're much stronger than, so it's probably doable, but it does mean we do need to improve the team a bit. Kurt Zouma there signing for Leicester City. I think that's quite a realistic signing, which is good to see. So I don't know if any of you guys have this issue, but I don't know if it's my controller or anything, but like I literally cannot. I want to change Sibley because, as you can see, he's moved to a centre forward from a centre forward to a cam. Also, Josuak might be able to do Josuak just because. No, like I'm not even pressing anything; it's just flying up there. So I don't know how you can do it on the messages quite easily, but I can't do anything to fix this, and it's really frustrating. I don't know if any of you guys have experienced this. Also Fosu Mansa there. Maybe if I just literally do it as soon as there we go. Literally what I need to do is press the button as soon as they get there. This is a fun little mini game to play. Spam the Y button. There we go. this is the and the game's crashed. Bit of player development here, so let's see if we can do it this time. There we go. So literally had to just restart the game to make it work. Yeah, we've got Sibley back to a. I'm almost tempted to get his defending stats up, but I think I need to convert him to. Probably do it with Dynamo. But I'm almost tempted just to get some shooting stats up, because then he can score some more goals. And obviously you'll need to do that in the Premier League. Yeah, we have a few other players that are having the option to convert. And there we go, there's one for Buchanan to an out-and-out left-back. Obviously I can get Max Lowe onto the attacking... Well, I can actually get his defensive work rate up, I think. I think keeping players with high defensive work rate defensively is good. Makes a lot of sense. Obviously Brown's going to a CDM. A few messages here with final scout reports for a few players. Obviously we need to have a look at Ryan Bertrand. 77 rated, okay pace at about 75 I think, maybe 76. Obviously acceleration in my opinion is more important. 63 strength isn't the best, but pretty good standard in tackling at 79. Slide tackling at 77. Technically he's quite good, physically not amazing. I think we'll leave him there for the time being. He's worth 7.5 million, so it's a good amount of money. And Lucas Vazquez, in terms of the finances of this deal, makes a lot of sense, because to sign him on this contract for a year would be like, I don't know, 35k a week wages, and then a couple of 100k signing on fee, and then if we sell him for like 16 million, you know, that's like instant profit. He's a very good player, so let me know in the comment section down below. Tempted to make this signing of Adaria, even though I can't say his name, we'll call him Tosin because that's his name, Tosin. Anyway, I might make this signing, then loan him out anyway, because then, you know, like Brighton do with, you know, Matt Clark and Ben White. You know, they've got Dunk and, well, last season anyway, they had Dunk, Duffy and Dan Burton. And obviously they got rid of Duffy now and brought in Aidan White. So, not Aidan White, what was his name? Ben White. So there's a bit of interest here for Super Yaga. It is a loan offer from Olympique Marseille. Obviously a very good team. 74 rated, 89 pace, maybe even 90 pace to be honest. Very good player. But I'm almost tempted to have a look at Cabral just to see what kind of rating he is. So we've got another 9 days on him. I think he's, you know, 84 to 90 strength is the kind of player that I want. I want a big... What I was kind of looking for in Adam Ida, but he's slightly different to what I 100% want. One player that I've just remembered that one of you guys did suggest for a left back is Ruben Vanagra from Wolves, obviously. I think, can I spell his name? Yes, he can. There we go. Very good player, 22 years old. Yeah, maybe one that once Max Lowe gets to his potential, we can look at to replace with Vanagra. But I like long-term signings as well as short-term solutions. There's Demabe going to Brighton, and here we go. Here's a big offer for Kamil Jozwiak from... Wow. Jeez, like, I didn't realise he's that much. So they've offered 25.9, and he's worth up to 46 million. He's 23 years old. That is ridiculous. That is a ridiculous amount of money for a player that I don't really want to sell, because he was brilliant last season, even in a quite defensive left mid position. Do I just reject it because I want to keep him? Probably. But a little part of me wants to go, or can I get 60 million for him? I think if we get 60 million from him, it would be very silly not to do it, but I very much doubt that Hertha will want 60 million for Kamil Jozwiak. Well, I doubt that Hertha Berlin have got 60 million. 64 million on the dot. Like, that is a ridiculous amount of money. And if they can pay that, no, there we go, cool. That's my price. If they don't want to pay my price for Jozwiak, that's what I see him as worth as. You know, if you think about what we signed him for, 3 million, technically at the start of last season, and here we go, another offer from Wolves this time for Max Bird, he's worth up to 25. This is ridiculous. He's up to a 76 rating as well. But I'm just going to reject offers for Bird and Joswiak, actually, because I don't want them to go anywhere. I've got a good call. I don't really need to sell anyone other than maybe Malone, Mitchell, and Yuan. That's maybe Mitchell, Lawson, and Simula, and Idem. But other than that, there's nothing major to sell here. And we have had a bit of growth to Damari Gray. He has gone higher rated than Ibe. I do like that pace though off the bench, and obviously he can go on either wing, Damari Gray, so quite a good, useful player to have. Also, Fosu Mensah going to a 76, Bielik to a 78. The rating growth is ridiculous. Sibley's gone up by 2. How's that? That's just like bang. There you go, have some ratings. He shot up quick. Anyone else? I don't think so. There we go. The colours have changed to the Premier League design. I'm not sure if I'm 100% a fan of it, but wow, Dean Henderson has grown, and I think a little bit too much for our liking. I think Aaron Ramsdale's a little bit more in our price budget, so a little bit of a shame. But yeah, there's a few players here that I'm definitely interested in having a look at, so we'll go over to the transfer hub. I don't know if I like these colours. They're just a bit too like in your face bright. I much preferred the Championship. I don't know if I'm going to like this Premier League colours, but it'd be kind of cool if you could customise them. But wow, Cabral's at 23 to 33 million, but he is exactly what I need if we're going to play this 4-3-3. 87 strength, 6'1", I think. Yeah, 6'1", 196 pounds is so important as well, and he's actually got decent pace at 75. He's not slow. 80 jumping as well. Really good shot power, really good heading and finishing. And it's a player that I've not really heard too much about. Like, I've never heard anyone wanting to get Cabral. He's a similar-ish, maybe slightly more expensive than Alfredo Morelos. Obviously very strong, very good at jumping. But I think the height difference and the weight, although he is a lot, is he stronger? But his wages, the wages of Morelos will mean we'll have to pay him 55k, whereas Cabral will probably be looking at 25 to 30. So yeah, as you can see, 41k for Lucas Vazquez. As I said, the financial side of that deal, we sign him for 200k right now, and then in a season's time sell him for 15 million. It makes a bit of sense. We do have Capaldo here as a bit of a backup central midfielder, which I don't mind the look of at 22 years old. Could always loan him out. So yeah, there's a lot of good players, but I don't think at 42 to 60 million. I like the idea of Dean Henderson, but financially just way out of our budget, so I will remove him from the shortlist. You see, Cabral would be like our marquee signing for the season. The only issue is, because he's 7 ratings higher than Liam Delap, I don't want to almost block Delap and Ida by making this kind of signing, but if we're going to have to finish mid-table, we are going to have to score a lot of goals. I think Cabral might be the answer to that. The financial side of things, I think signings of Vazquez and Capaldo and Tosin make a lot of sense. I think, like, I sign him for 15k, loan him out for the season, he grows to like 75 rated, and then he's worth like 10 million. Same with Capaldo if he grows by a bit. So there's a few players here which I quite like just because they're free, which is always nice. Obviously Benrahma at 78 rated. You see, I could always sell, like, if we get like another big bid in for Joswiak, sell him for, 55 million, and then bring in Benrahma for 16 million. It's kind of ridiculous how easy it would be to replace. Sam Johnston here, 28 years old, won't grow in stats, but won't decline in stats either, and he has actually got much better stats than Ben Foster, of course. Gradient Diangana, nice backup winger, but I think we've got plenty of options out wide. Martinez here at about 16 million for a 79 rated goalkeeper. That might be the shout. I do like Martinez, really good at Arsenal, and obviously done well so far for Villa. I think they're unbeaten in all their games so far. They actually did some really, really good business, Villa. So yeah, I think we're going to wrap up this episode here. In terms of what the input I want from you guys is out of these goalkeepers that we do have, of Ramsdale, Martinez and Romero and Ulrich, I think they're the ones that I'm predominantly looking at. I think these two are, especially this Maximiano, we're going to remove him, he's way too expensive. But in terms of goalkeepers, I like Emiliano Martinez. I think he's the best value for money. But if you're going to get a 79 rated goalkeeper, maybe it's just a shout just to get Ulrich on a free at 32. He's still pretty young, and he's got pretty good stats, 84 reflexes. But I do like Emiliano Martinez, and obviously he's not going to want to play in the Championship, of course. So yeah, let me know in terms of goalkeepers. Also, let me know what should I do in terms of these free agents, in terms of Tosin, Bertrand, Capaldo, and where was the other one? Lucas Vazquez. I think Lucas Vazquez makes a lot of sense financially because, as I said, you can just sell him for 15 million at the end of the season if you want to. And in terms of strikers, I think I like Morelos, I like Cabral, and I like Ollie Watkins. I think it's out of these three. All of them under 25, of course. Maybe even Wesley as well. But I think if I was going to get a striker, I don't know why I'd go Wesley over Watkins. I think I'd much rather have Watkins just because of that extra bit of pace. So yeah, let me know in the comment section down below what we should do in terms of signings. I like Arthur Cabral. I've not heard too much about him, but he looks very good indeed with 87 strength and pretty good pace. Flair and power header trait. It's not a combo you get too much, but also Alfredo Morelos from Rangers, solid player of course, very good strength at 89, and also 84 jumping, so very good indeed. Ollie Watkins again, very good jumping, very good heading ability, and I think one of these three strikers makes the most sense. So yeah, hopefully guys did enjoy this first episode of Season 2. We've only made 3 signings so far, I think. So let me know in terms of those signings what you guys think are the best. Obviously, make sure you keep on suggesting any new signings. Some really good ones from you guys, so I do appreciate those a lot. But yeah, in terms of the team, I think predominantly a goalkeeper and a young goalkeeper and a striker are the two options that we're going to be looking at. Obviously, in terms of signings, we have made a few, so I don't want to over-sign in this first episode. You know, we've got Yedlin on a pre-contract, we've got Lowe, and then on the bench we got Damari Gray, Fosu Mensah, Fernandinho, and I think, was that everyone? Oh yeah, and Martinez on a free transfer, which we will look to loan out, of course. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with the overall squad at the minute. I don't want to oversign and kind of block the path of. I don't think we need in particular a central midfielder, because I don't want to block Bird, Sibley or Knight. In terms of right back, bringing Bogle back to the club, it's a bit of a tricky one because we have got Nathan Byrne, who's pretty good, with DeAndre Yedlin, who we might need to look for a more defensive, but then again we have got Fosu Mensah, he can always slot in at right back if we need a bit of a bigger defensive option. So yeah, I'm happy with the overall squad at the minute. Let me know in the comment section down below any signings that you want to suggest, and yeah, make sure you do smash a like on this first episode of Season 2. If we could get it up to 50 likes, then that'd be absolutely fantastic. I might look to do double uploads at the weekend. I think that's something that a few people have asked about, and it might be an option. Now that I'm in the Premier League, it's slightly more easy because it's not as congested. So you can kind of run through the season a little bit faster in the Premier League, which I quite like. Our first Premier League game of the season is against Burnley at home. Then we have Southampton. It's a pretty nice start. Then we have a difficult game against Spurs, and then Wolves to finish off the month. But, you know, there's not an outstandingly tough team until, you know, other than that Spurs and Wolves game. We've got Chelsea and Arsenal in November. That is a very tough December, though. So yeah, hopefully guys did enjoy this first episode. If you can get it up to 50 likes, then that'd be absolutely fantastic to show your support on this series. And yeah, just carry on with the support. I really do appreciate all the comments and everything, and see you soon. Bye.